Well, hello there. It's Andrew here, the Albanach Knitter, and welcome to my first little video of 2025. It's been a while getting to you. All of a sudden, it's nearly February and I'm just sort of getting back into things. I'm based here on the Isle of Arran, off the west coast of Scotland, as many of you will know if you're a returning viewer. If you're new here, well, that's information for you. I live out here on the Isle of Arran, just off the west coast of Scotland, and enjoy myself thoroughly. And this is my little space on the internet, as they say, where I talk about knitting, island life, and just general stuff. Today, as I'm recording, it's Monday, and this is a little bit of a special episode, in spite of the fact that it's one of my extra stitch programs, because just about a week ago, it was my 2-year podiversary. Can you believe it? I've been going here for 2 years here on the channel, and it's been an absolute blast. And you know, like everything else, there's times where I can put a lot of time into the channel here, and there's sometimes I don't quite have all the time I would like to be able to invest here, but nevertheless, here we are. So if you're one of those brave souls who's been watching from the very beginning, well done you, your medal is in the post. And for those who are coming along new, it's good to see you as well. I say these extra stitch episodes, if you want to call them that, are just an opportunity to sit down for a little catch up. When I do my main episodes, I like to take you out and about here on the island or anywhere else I happen to be going. But sometimes it's just good to sit and have a little chat. So I hope you're ready for that today. There's plenty of updates to give you as we go ahead. Now, we did have a lovely Christmas and New Year. We had all the family here at home, and I had promised myself that after a very busy last quarter of the year, last year, that January 2025 for me was going to be a slower month. I'm trying to take hints from the seasons and just chill out a little bit. So that's duly what I've done. So I had a very quiet, maybe week and a half or so to start the year, and then work things started to pick up a little bit. But I've still purposefully been trying to slow things down a little bit, not only just to balance the old work life, but to stay healthy and, well, as much as I can, and all that sort of stuff. So that's been the aim, and I've been relatively successful in that, I think, maybe, perhaps, but I am feeling okay. I'm feeling good, and I really have benefited from the little bit of chilling out. But things are starting to pick up at work. Now, before I get on to all the general life updates, as this is a knitting channel, I want to give you an update on the knitting. Now, a few things have occurred in the last month since Christmas, and I have actually got some some finished objects. I mean, a finished object. Now, it must be a sign of my insanity, because after spending a lot of time on the Dustland sweater, which you've all seen, and finishing off Mrs. Clark's thingamajiggy. Now I'm going to move something. Sorry. There we are. Unbalanced. Sorry. After finishing my Dustland sweater, I had some wool left from the sweater, and also, if you remember, I also bought an extra batch of wool of the same type of yarn, but it wasn't the same dye lot, and it was the totally wrong colour for my sweater, so I then had more of it left. So in some sort of attack of foolish notion, I decided that I wasn't quite done with Dustland, and so I knitted the Dustland cap, and there it is. It's quite big. It's a slouchy beanie. I'll hold it up there. You can see all the Dustland motifs there. I did kind of quite enjoy this. It was kind of a really easy knit because I'd been knitting on the Dustland so long that a lot of these pattern sections I knew how to do them. The only extra thing to learn really here was where the decreases and increases came for the shape of the hat. Now it's quite a slouchy effort, as you can see it sticks up here. But if you sort of foof it properly, it sort of creates a nice sort of slouch at the back, and so there we go. When I'm out and about, I can be Mr. Dustland, and this is really nice wool. As I've said before, it's 50% wool, 50% acrylic. So it's not like, if you're a yarn snob, you might not necessarily like it, but I like it. And so that's what I did. So that's my first knitted thingamajig accessory item of the year. So there we are, the Dustland hat. I have made one of these before in a grey colour, but that was entirely in just an acrylic yarn. I started that just to sort of dig my feet into the Dustland thing a little bit more, because as you remember me saying, I created a Dustland shawl, and so I created a hat to match the big scarf thing before I sort of got into the jumper. But I can promise you, as I've said on Instagram, if you follow me over there, I am well and truly Dustlanded out. No more Dustland for the rest of 2025. And I don't know if I'd necessarily go. Now, having said that, there is one of the things that I haven't tried in the whole Dustland range is the Dustland socks. And that may be in the future. Maybe even this year if I'm, maybe. So first finished item, that's to be celebrated. Now I still have a wee bit of, well, that's some more of the yarn there, but I've also got some other balls of that, skeins of that. So what I thought I'd do is I thought I would try something very simple and something experimental. Now you must be wondering, what on earth is this that he's knitting on? It's not a tie, as in necktie. What I thought I would try, because I've seen them online, is to knit some garter. See how stretchy this is? Obviously it's garter stitch and it's really, really stretchy. What I am knitting here are garter bands for kilt socks. Now, I know that's probably the most Scottish thing you've heard for a long time. I do wear a kilt on quite a few occasions, not just for special occasions, but sometimes just everyday and casual. But when you're wearing socks, they come up to just under the knee, and what you can get is you get these sort of elastic garter bands that you put on under the fold of the sock, and they have little tabs that sort of go out the side that match your kilt, and it looks dandy. It looks dandy. But I find that they're too tight, and with a few medical things, it's not good for me to have less circulation to the old legs. So what I thought I would try is, back in the day when garter bands are made, they were either knitted or woven, and so what I'm in the process of doing is trying to knit some garter bands, and I think this might end up being at least half as much more than what I already have. So they have to be really long, because they have to go around your legs a couple of times, and you have to be able to tie something of a knot, and then have the little bits sort of dangle from the side of your sock. So I'm trying this, thinking that maybe it's going to be something that will help keep my kilt socks up, but perhaps it'll be something that's not quite so tight as that elastic sort of band thing that goes round. So that's what I'm knitting on just now, and this is a really, really easy knit. I think I've got something like 10 stitches here, and it's just garter stitch back and forward, garter stitch. Maybe that's where it comes from, I don't know. Garter stitch, back and forward. And really, really easy knit, good for the knitting group that I go to, good for sitting in front of the telly, small enough to put into a small bag and take out when I'm, got a few minutes of downtime when I'm out and about or waiting for an appointment or something like that. So that's what I'm doing. And these will be an experiment just to see how they go. As I say, when they're finished, what I will probably do is on the end, you can see where the starter end is there, the what do you call that? Cast on thread. I will put some simple tassels there, which will probably be just a case of weaving in some ends of wool and then separating out the strands, just to give it that fluffy sort of, you get at the end of the scarf, but on a smaller scale, because that's typically what you would see on these kind of garters. Now, if you look up on Google or any other search engine, others are available, and you look up knitted kilt socks garters, you'll kind of see what I'm getting at here. Anyway, that's what I am knitting on right now, and that's quite okay. As I declared on Instagram, sort of just after finishing the Dustland and the red cedar sweater, I felt like I was in a bit of a knitting no man's land, and obviously knitted the Dustland hat as well. But after finishing that, I felt I was just a little bit sort of like, I was almost felt knitted out. And then I started to think, am I feeling the pressure to knit because of this lovely blog and you lovely people? And you don't want to get to that place, but I guess there probably was a little bit of like, well, I have to be knitting something because, all that sort of stuff. So what I did is I just worked on trying to get rid of those thoughts and tried to reframe things, and did something that I wanted to. Now, here's a discovery that I made, I think, about my knitting during the course of 2024, especially having had those two big sweater projects on the go at the same time. Now, as much as I love Mrs. Clark's sweater, and I've had time to block it now, and it looks absolutely fantastic, and she wears it and all that sort of thing. It's a really happy thing to notice and see. And as much as I like my sweater, I realise that I need a lot of smaller projects in my knitting. I think for lots of reasons. First of all, I think I'm the kind of person that needs to be able to finish things and get a little hit from that sense of achievement. So that's important. But I also like to be able to gift my knits. And one of the things that I've done over a long time, most of you will know that I'm a pastor in a local church, and we're blessed to have lots of children around the church. And one of the things that I've loved to do over many years is to knit something for the children in the church, whether that be a little hat, or whether it be a little cardie if they're just newborn, or whether it be a little amigurumi crochet bear or bunny or something. I just it's just one of the things that I love to do, and one of the things that I of course do when I'm making something like that for one of the children is I'm thinking of them, I'm praying for them, thinking about their quirky little characters and all the joy that they bring and all the challenges that they might bring their parents, and so it's a good way to be able to, in a sense, hold that little generation before the Lord in prayer. So it's a little bit of a spiritual exercise for me as well. But I love just to be able to bless the children in that way, and encourage the parents as well, because it's hard enough. So I'm recognising that that's something that I need to be able to do. I'm coming to the conclusion, perhaps, that I am maybe more of an accessory and novelty knitter than I am, with some of the other stuff. That's not to say that I won't be knitting garments in the future, but what I really enjoy is those types of product. And I'm starting to laugh to myself, because I'm remembering that when I started knitting, again, over 10 years ago, 11, 12 years ago now, one of the first things that I decided that I would knit is I knitted an orange traffic cone. Mainly because, my eldest decided that he wanted to have an orange beanie. I mean, he never wore it because it was this is a thing you could fit a bowling ball inside, so it was very good. But I had some of this bright orange yarn left, just acrylic yarn, and I don't know how I got round to knowing that this is something that I could do, but I ended up knitting an orange traffic cone, and that gave me no end of smiles. So I love those kind of things. I really love those kind of things. So I'm simply bearing that in mind as I go into this first part of 2025. I've already got a few ideas that I won't speak about just yet in case I change my mind or something. I've got a few ideas of a couple of things that I want to do for some of the children, as I say, and I think that's going to be something that I turn my attention to this first part of the year. One of the other things that I really love is I have quite an attraction to a little bird that we call over here the robin. Now I know that you have robins in other parts of the world, but what I'm talking about here is the Eurasian robin, the European robin, and that's a brown bird. Sorry, itchy. That's a brown bird, and it has a brown face, and it has a red breast and a white sort of underbelly. That's the kind of robin I'm talking about. It's I recently bought a pattern. I saw a pattern online where you can knit a little tiny robin. So I can see some little knitted robins coming in my way. I have a little collection of bits and pieces around. I try not to collect too much stuff in the process of life. I try and keep things fairly simple, but I just love a little robin. So I'm going to knit some robins as well. I've knit some fun robins in the past, and if I can find a picture, I'll pop one in here. In fact, if I can find the picture that I think I can find, this is one I knit about 4 or 5 years ago. I was off work for a season, unwell, and I knitted for victory through that time. And this was one of the things I loved it. It went to the son of one of our dear friends for Christmas one year, and I think I made more than one of those, and they went to some other children that we give for. So I'm saying all that to say that as much as you get the sense of satisfaction from a sweater project well done, I think I love all sorts of little projects and all sorts of little cute things. So that's what's ahead for me, I think, and I think that's what will get me through the knitting slump until I'm in a place where I can think about something larger again. Now, the other knitting related activity which has been part of my life for this part of the new year, again, you may have seen it on Instagram and you may see it sitting here. I was heading out to knitting group, and I thought, I will grab some of that lovely merino sock yarn that I was gifted by my lovely friends from Oregon. Thank you. I'll just grab it quickly, and I'll whirl it up into a ball, and then I'll take it to the knitting group and I'll start knitting some socks for Mrs. Clark because she asked for some socks. And I duly did so I got it all unrolled, and I was just holding the hank in my arm. I was rushing, and I got the end on the spinner, and I started spinning, and it was doing okay. It was coming off, and I thought that's fine. I don't need to get the Swift out. No, I don't need to get the Swift out. And then something happened. Either something moved somewhere, a dog or a child or something like that. And by the time I looked back at what I was doing, I ended up with the parent of this. Now, believe it or not, this is it significantly better. Significantly better, because this whole ball was in that mess, and just recently I found the other end, and so I've started to work from both ends from when I get totally frustrated. So this has been interesting. It's been frustrating on one hand, but actually I have spent hours, days in the last few weeks trying to unravel this beautiful mess. And yes, I know that this is very much a parabolic representation of my brain. And so I'm very much aware of that. So as I've been sitting unraveling this, I've been trying to unravel this as well. So I've been taking it as a lesson in perseverance and patience and paying attention. And I find that if I can get into the zone of exploring where all these little threads come out and separating them all out and trying to untangle the knots and still follow the thread that we're actually working on and to make the ball and all that sort of thing, I find that it's quite a good, almost meditative process until you get to 4 o'clock in the morning and you discover, having lost all track of time, that you're still sitting on the couch with YouTube playing in the background, and I'm sitting unfankling. I think that's probably a Scottish word for you. A fankle. This is a fankle. It's a right good fankle. And undoing this mess has been a big part of my knitting story for the first part of 2025. And as I say, when I get this uncomplicated, the plan is to go and knit some socks for Mrs. Clark. Now, it will probably be the Crazy Sock Ladies vanilla magic loop socks, because that's what I have discovered that I quite enjoy, and that I'm happy with the end result. So it will probably be that. I'm going to put this down because before I know it, I'll be talking and you'll just be sitting there watching me sort of mesmerised with this thing. So anyway, that's been the other part of my knitting journey in 2025. However, apart from on the knitting front, there's been lots of interesting things happening here in the Isle of Arran. Not the Isle of Arran, I don't know where that is, the Isle of Arran. The first of which is we have now got our brand new ferry. She is a lovely ship, and she has started sort of in the second week of January, going back and forward, and is doing very well. I haven't been on it yet, but from all reports, she's quite a girl. So I'm really looking forward to getting on the ferry. In a few weeks, I think I've got an appointment over on the mainland at the hospital, so I shall be heading on the ferry then to try it out, and I might even take some footage for you, because I wouldn't like us to get a new ferry and for you not to be able to see it. Now that wouldn't be very good, so you shall see the new ferry, whether you like to or not. You can fast forward that bit if you're not interested in our boats, but that is the actual plan. So it's been lovely to see her going back and forwards, and we hope that it will solve lots of problems for folks here on the island. Well, sorry about that. As I suspected, my little the gadget thing that I have my phone on needs batteries. It needs charged up, and it obviously wasn't charged enough. As I was saying, you're now perched on a board game. And it probably makes a completely different aesthetic from the first part of the video there, but never mind, here we are. As I was saying, lots of people on the island have been trying their very best to keep their businesses running and going, especially the tourism and hospitality business, with very uncertain ferry services. So we're hoping this new ferry will make a big difference for many of those businesses on the island, and that our visitor numbers might be able to get back to what it was not so long ago. So that's the hope. So it's nice to have the new ferry, and I'll have put in some footage in here of it. She's a lovely girl. She's called the Glen Sannox, which is nice. So yeah, new ferry. And on our own personal front, we are getting very close to being able to move to our new home. As you can see, I'm still in the same corner in our house that we've been in for the last 2 years. But we are expecting that come the end of February, we will be moving from Lumlash here up to Brodick in our new home, which is absolutely fantastic news. It's taken a wee while, but these things do take a while. I mean, builders who work here have to bring all their stuff, get it all shipped over on the ferry and all that sort of thing. So it's a little bit of an extra, a little bit of an extra factor. You can't just pop down to the local hardware shop because although there are a couple, you can't be assured that they're going to have everything, and certainly not when you're talking about some larger things like new baths and showers and paneling and all that sort of thing. You have to go to the mainland for all that sort of stuff. So the house is almost ready, and we're very happy about that. So we're in the sorting out process here, in more earnestly in the sort out process here, which adds all sorts of interesting things to life, because I have also just picked up my doctoral studies again, because well, why not? I'm already half crazy already, so I might as well just add some more pressure to the game. So that's been fun. I've been doing some seminars on Saturday afternoons, and will be for the next 6 weeks. I've been enjoying that. And I reflected when I was sitting on one of the seminars that every other participant in the group was male, of a certain age, balding, with glasses, and sporting a goatee beard. I think I found my people. I think I have found my academic people. So that was fun. There are women too, but they couldn't make it on that last class we were on. Anyway, I digress. Yes, so I've started back the studies again, and I'm hoping to be able to finish that within this year. We shall see. Now, the biggest thing to tell you about, which has been the big feature of the last 3 or 4 days here in the Isle of Arran, is that we have just had a colossal storm blow through. If you're in the United States of America, especially on the east side, I think, or maybe for good swathes of America, you know that big cold snap you've just had, where you had those freezing temperatures and all that sort of thing. Well, the offshot of that was the shift in temperatures sent a little shockwave across the jet stream over the Atlantic to us here on the western fringes of Europe and the United Kingdom, and Scotland in particular, the Isle of Arran especially. And as that moved its way over the Atlantic Ocean, we developed some hurricane force winds of up to 100 miles an hour. And in fact, in Ireland, I think they had wind gusts, I think up to 114, 115 miles per hour. So on Friday last week, don't ask me what date that was, the 26th or something like that, we had Storm Eowyn pass through. And it was only about 12 hours, but 12 hours of devastating wind. And so our little island, even today, this is Monday, still very much picking itself up after that storm. Lots of tree damage, lots of wonderful old trees have come down. People have lost, outbuildings, and, there's been some structural damage to homes and all that sort of thing. One of the local nurseries for children had damage to the roof. So all that kind of thing. And it's been really sad to see. I mean, there are some lovely forests here on the island, and there are tens and tens and tens of trees which have come down. Now, most of those forests are run by the forestry department, and so they will take care of all that, and they have a program of replanting and all that sort of thing. So it's very well managed. So they'll deal with all that. But it's been sad to see those lovely areas being devastated like that. So yes, Stormy Owen, it cut off, obviously it cut off our ferries, it cut off lots of things that you kind of need on an island community. Many of people in the community have been without electricity, and some are still without electricity here on Monday, and some have been without water and lots of different things. So it's been quite a time. So yeah, we're sort of picking ourselves up and dusting ourselves down after that little storm, and but otherwise, things are moving apace, folks, and have to say it's been lovely to be back here with you, chatting away to you while I work on these Kilt Socks Garters, and to celebrate my second year of vlogging here on YouTube, and in that regard, I would just want to say once again a huge thank you to all of you who join me here, who like to come along and sit down and have a little knit and a little chat, especially down there in the comments, and all of you who have been so encouraging and supportive over these last 2 years. And even those of you who are new, it's been lovely to meet you. And I've got myself into a right fankle here. It's all about the fankle. Let me just count the stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that one there is just a wee bit of an extra. Yes, that's the slip. Don't worry, I'm back on it. What I was saying, yeah. So thank you all of you who have been involved in encouraging me over these last 2 years, and who have commented and cared and supported, and especially thank you once again to all of those of you who have liked and subscribed, because that has helped the channel, and it's helped get this wee channel out there, and for all of you as well who have been generous in your financial support through Ko-fi or coffee, however you want to pronounce it. That has been so valuable as well. It's helped me to do things on the channel, like travel to places and get you places and show you things. But also it's just generally supported and helped, and that's been a huge unexpected blessing, and much appreciated. And it just helps with all the various things to do around here with the podcast. So a huge thank you for staying tuned today, if you've managed to do that. I hope I haven't bored you to tears. Excuse all my little distractions, because between getting stitches all over the place and getting lost in the untangling of the yarn, and keeping an eye on the dog, and the Digimon what's it flippy-majig running out of battery and all that sort of thing. It's just been a whole mess, isn't it? But I'm sure that's what you come here for. Anyway, it's been lovely to see you. I hopefully will be back with a full proper episode where I can take you out and about a little bit, as well as talk to you about the knitting stuff, and get you back out again. In winter time, it's not worth going out. It's just dark, and it's wet, and it's cold. So there's been lots of sort of fireside stuff. So we'll get you back out again, and it's been great to catch up with you. I think I've probably said that 1,000 times now, but it really has. It's been great to be with you today. The rest of the day for me is very shortly I'll be preparing Bible study notes for tomorrow morning. I will be heading down to Whiting Bay, which is the next village down, where I'll be giving a young gentleman his trumpet lesson. And then this evening, I have to do my tax return. So you can imagine all the joy that is set before me for this evening. Mrs. Clark will help with that. I'm not the best with mathematics and all that sort of stuff, and counting stuff, and being organised and all that sort of thing. So I will have some help. But anyway, that is what I have to do. So for now, take care. Keep on knitting, keep in touch, keep watching, like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. It doesn't cost you anything to press that subscribe button, but it does help the wee channel here. And for all your other support, again, thank you. So, Marshall Lave and Rasta, Agus, Bianach Dia, good. Take care, and God bless.